Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at another one of the posts on the Korean Mabinogi Eternity project site. So I would like to talk about texture production during the process of remodeling Turconail, where Militians will live. If you change the engine to Unreal, the background graphics will have to get better. Wouldn't it be possible to make it respond to real-time light by adding normal, roughness, and specular so that the characteristics of each material stand out? I'll make all the backgrounds you've wanted to make for a while. The will to create a truly fantastic background was sparked. However, our Mabinogi isn't like this. I worked too hard on sculpting using graphics tools, but it didn't have the hardwood feel that Mabi has. When I strengthened the normal, realizing low polygons with the three-dimensional effect of high polygons, the clear feeling typical of Mabi did not appear. However, I gathered my courage and went back to the beginning and thought about what elements determine the characteristics of Mabinogi's background. Mabinogi is a cartoon graphic. The flat feel of the environment setting creates a unique 2D feel, and the diffuse texture has strong contrast to bring out the sense of mass. The sense of shape and proportion of the background had a simpler and more casual feel than the realistic proportions. On the other hand, the texture was closer to real life than expected. In these cases, Mabinogi's background identity was being added. So here's a good example of like the wooden textures being showed well. And then Avalon clearly shows like stone texture. This was it. More than anything, I realized that texture plays a big role. The unique, clean, and organized feeling comes from the texture. So, I tried creating the texture right away. First, create a shape. To what extent should sculpting using graphics tools be done? In sculpting shaping using graphic tools, I decided to neatly process large chunks and edges and only add large cracks to the wood texture. Work efficiency is also important, so the wood grain feel was created using alpha in the tool. So here you can see, like, this is the door to Duncan's house, and this is like the window. We've all seen the preview of his house in Unreal Engine. Second, create a diffuse base color of the object texture. In the past, texture creation was created by combining photo textures with Photoshop or drawing them directly. Nowadays, several tools such as ZBrush and Substance are used. Looking at the Mabinogi texture, we could see that it was close to real life and had a high density. It has a semi-realistic feel that has been processed through photo texture synthesis for stylized texture with high detail. Since it was produced 20 years ago, it had a strong feel of a photo composite hand mat. To reflect these aspects, using the production tool, we used the wood grain texture as a base and built it up one by one. Use the sharpen filter sharpening effect to express highlights and depicted parts more clearly. In particular, care must be taken when creating high polygons to clearly express highlights and shading at the edges. And this looks pretty cool. You can like see how in this picture like the wood is like changing. That looks really cool. And here you can see the front of Duncan's house again. This was it. Although the road was difficult, I was very proud that I had laid the foundation for transferring Mabinogi's style to the new engine. Yeah, it's very important Mabinogi has the same style, and this guy did really good work on this. Like, this isn't easy to do. So on the left we have existing resources, so the resources from Pleon Engine, and on the right we have the Unreal Engine resources. So this is the church in Pleon Engine and the bank in Pleon Engine, and this is the church in Unreal Engine and the bank in Unreal Engine. Making the tiles was also difficult. The tiles also used a texture that was close to real life and had a high density. Think of it as a semi-realistic texture with a processed feel through compositing from a photo texture or a stylized texture with high detail. I tested it out in two ways. Processed through Substance Designer texture creation tool for soil and grass, you can see it here, and photo plus PRB, so physically based rendering, resource synthesis for the soil and grass, so you can see like the two differences between these pictures. How to create a Substance Designer from a stylized feel to a more realistic depiction. Advantage: as work resources accumulate, you can quickly work with tiles with a different feel by reorganizing and recycling nodes. Disadvantage: it takes time to express photo-like details. And photo texture and PRB resource plus Substance Designer and Sampler equals composite. The work speed is fast. Disadvantages is it requires reliance on photo resources, so expressions are limited. So here's another cool picture of Cherconale Town Square. This is kind of cool because now we have a closer look at the actual town square area that a lot of us have spent a lot of time being AFK in. So I like the wood that they decided to add here. That wasn't here before. It used to just be all stone. It looks like they added like wood right here in like the four corners. I think that's to make it feel a little bit more like a bench. And you can also see like the brick right there. That looks cool. And you can see some brick over there too. Overall, I think they did a really good job with this. This looks like Town Square. It feels good. We can see everything appearing. We can see all the trees appearing, all the buildings and fences, the water, the dock for fishing. Let's go right to here. This is our first real look at like Cherconale as a whole. The only thing we really can't see is Fergus's shop. So there's the healer's house way over there. That's going to be the graveyard. I would love to see some close-ups of what the graveyard is going to look like. Looking back, a lot of things happened. There's still a lot to do, but the style has been established. This is how the background graphics of Mabinogi Eternity are being produced. So this was an interesting post to read. I'm definitely glad that they're interested in capturing Mabinogi's style and making it feel like the same game. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Mabinogi Eternity section on the Korean website. And today we're going to be looking at For Silky Militian Hair. So, hello, this is Developer K. I would like to talk about the process of applying physics-based animation to bring life to the hair of Militians. In the beginning, there was a skeleton, so this is a skeleton of a Militian. The screenshot above is of the skeleton omitted for illustration purposes. In the actual game, more skeletons are used for various movements. Traditional animation techniques for creating character movement include: there's a basic skeleton for the character, and the key animation which moves the skeleton in XYZ direction and adds a key to each frame is common. For example, let's consider the motion called walking. Since the legs must move back and forth, the thigh, calf, foot, and toe bones must be moved each frame to set the height, left foot, right foot, respectively. Of course, let's move the arms naturally too. Let's set the height by moving the upper arm, forearm, and hand skeletons each frame. For natural movement, the body also needs to be in rhythm. So pelvis, spine, neck, etc. Walking was used as an example, but in Mabinogi, all character movements are performed in the same manner as above. It is a key animation method that holds the key by moving the position of the skeleton for each frame. The motions of various skills, the motions of actions, etc., all movements. When the above skeleton moves, the attached modeling should also move along with it, right? The work done to achieve this is called rigging and skinning. Connect each vortex of modeling to the skeleton rigging and set the skeleton by giving weights that will be affected by its movement skinning. This allows the attached modeling skin to stretch or shrink when the skeleton moves. Since the basic skeleton of the character is shared, even if the modeling is changed, if the skinning is done properly, the animation operates normally. So hair animation. Let's take an example of a ponytail. It is said that animation must be added to the ponytail hair with all key animation data created based on the basic skeleton described above. First, we need to add a skeleton for the ponytail for movement to the basic skeleton. So here you can see the picture for an example. Now all you have to do is add a key for the movement of the additional skeleton for the ponytail to the animations you previously created for character movement. In all character animations 13,586, the key of the skeleton added for the ponytail must be adjusted step by step. So here's all the steps. As the hair bones continue to be added to the base bone, rigging and skinning problems also arise. So separation of the hair skeleton. Before something like the above becomes difficult just by imagining it, let's separate the hair skeleton from the basic skeleton. Leave the existing basic skeleton and animation data as is and create a separate skeleton for the hair. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Let's create a separate hair skeleton like this and create a separate animation for the ponytail that will run simultaneously with the existing animation. At this time, when the walking animation of the basic skeleton is executed, the walking animation of the ponytail skeleton is also executed at the same time. The animation operates separately on the two skeletons, but the result looks like one movement. Of course, for this, it is necessary to adjust the frame length of both animations and keep adjusting them based on the basic skeleton animation so that the hair does not stick out too much. Separating the skeleton only solves problems in the rigging and skinning process compared to adding a hair skeleton to the basic skeleton. The process for creating a key animation corresponding to all existing animations is the same. Currently, in the case of moving wigs and hair Mabinogi, the skeleton is separated for each hair mesh and a key animation is created and applied in response to the motion applied to the existing basic skeleton. Physics-based animation. What is physics animation? It has physical properties such as mass, inertia, damping, and elasticity. This refers to animation that is simulated to produce results similar to everyday physical phenomena. In short, if you set various conditions, movement is automatically created according to the physical phenomena. If you just listen to the exclamation, there is no need to specify the position and for the skeleton for each frame like in the existing key animation. It sounds like a technology that naturally and automatically simulates the position of the skeleton. In reality, there are many things to consider in order to express natural movement. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Even in motion, in place, in motion that moves and runs, or in motion with high acceleration, the simulation should come out not moving as if it's bouncing too much, right? In small movements, there is little response to external factors, so it is difficult to express the ponytail's movements in detail. On the other hand, with large movements, acceleration or collisions can make the simulation unstable, causing the movement to appear inaccurate. To respond to these problems, adjust the parameters of the physics simulation, or adjustments to the magnitude and direction of the motion are required. Nevertheless, there are cases where it is not possible to satisfy both extreme situations of small motion and large motion. Initial physics-based animation test appearance, so that's this here. So 1, no physical animation, and 2, small physical animation movement, and 3, large physical animation movement. So you can see here how the hair isn't moving at all when the character moves, and you can see here how it's moving a little bit when the character moves, and in 3 you can see how the hair is moving a lot when the character moves. For the flowing Malaysian hair, the key animation and physics-based animation introduced above are all research and development processes for the flowing Malaysian hair. In addition, there are various contents such as combination of key animation and physics-based animation, retargeting system, etc. We will cover related content in the next costume animation, the 4-pointed skirt we will cover related content in the next costume animation. The 4-pointed skirt is actually... As the journey of the Mabinogi Eternity project continues, Malaysian's hair will become even more luscious. Okay, so this is good. So they are working on hair movement in this part of the update. Okay, so we'll be looking at another part of the Mabinogi Eternity section on the Korean website. So the 4-point skirt is actually... So we develop with Unreal Engine, so of course the skirt will naturally flow, right? This time we will focus on expressing natural movement in costume animation, especially skirt-shaped costumes. Let me introduce you to the animation-related R&D process. Let's briefly recall the key animation and rigging and skinning introduced in the hair animation section. Key animation holds the key by moving the position of the skeleton for each frame. Rigging and skinning connect each vertex of the modeling to the skeleton rigging and give the skeleton a weight to be affected by its movement. Skinning. 4-point skirt, not bulletproof. Taking the popo skirt as an example, the skirt hem of the popo skirt is rigged and skinned to the leg bones. So when the legs move due to the key animation, the attached skirt moves together. So what should I do to make the skirt part of the 4-point skirt move separately? You just need to create an additional skeleton to move the skirt and set a separate key animation. Volitions who have seen the hair animation process will have already noticed, but there is a problem. So they're just saying the same, they're just using the hair example here. If this continues, the skeleton will continue to proliferate as each costume has a different shape. However, this is a problem I have already experienced once with hair animation. Just apply the same solution as hair animation. So, cloth simulation. It is a type of physics-based animation that was previously introduced in hair animation. It refers to a technology that imitates the motion of flexible materials such as clothing or fabric. What makes hair animation different from physically based animation is that cloth simulation movements do not require a skeleton. Of course, since physical calculations are performed at the vertex level instead, it is bound to be heavy in terms of performance. What if we combined Mabinogi with cloth simulation, which is excellent for expressing the smooth movement of fabric? I started applying the cloth simulation by imagining the possum skirt I was wearing swaying in the air every time I walked. The problem is form. A problem occurred during testing with various types of skirts: short skirt, long skirt, wide skirt, narrow skirt. By rigging and skinning, there are no parts that can be stretched beyond the original form of the modeling. As physics calculations were performed at the vertex level, side effects occurred, such as legs going through the skirt or the bottom of the skirt being rolled up. Of course, there is room for improvement by setting additional physical properties and increasing the amount of computation. It was difficult to expect natural movement in long and narrow skirts. If you attach a skeleton as before, rig it, skin it, and then use the key animation to move it, the mesh will stretch beyond its existing shape. The movement of the flowing skirt that was initially thought is moving further away. Physics simulation again. As applied in previous hair, a separate skeleton for the skirt was created, separated from the basic skeleton, and attached to the skeleton for the skirt. A method of applying physics simulation was introduced. The basic skeleton of the character is used to control the character's movement. This skeleton determines the overall movement of the character and handles the basic animations such as walking, running, jumping, etc. The skeleton for the skirt is responsible for simulating the physics of the skirt parts, used to represent the movement of the skirt more realistically. Physics-based animation calculates the movement of the skirt by considering physical factors such as gravity, air resistance, and external interference. For example, when a character moves quickly, the effect of a skirt blowing in the wind is physically simulated. The physical effects make the game character's motion feel more lifelike and realistic. By combining these two separate skeletal systems, the overall movement of the character utilizes traditional animation techniques, while the movement of one particular part, the skirt, is expressed more naturally through physics-based form. However, there were problems with applying physics-based animation. In small movements, there is less response to external factors. The movement of the skirt is difficult to express in detail. On the other hand, with large movements, acceleration or collisions make the simulation unstable, causing the movement to appear inaccurate. To respond to these problems, it is necessary to adjust the parameters of the physics simulation or adjust the size and direction of motion. There were limits to the physical simulation results appearing natural in all movements. Combination of key animation and physics simulation. To solve the problem, key animation was applied to the skeleton at the beginning of the chain in the chain-shaped skirt skeleton. This ensures that movement at the top of the skirt is reliably controlled by key animation. We apply physics-based animation to the remaining bones of the skirt, propagating physical movement based on the key animation movement of the top bone. Through this, it has become a form that can satisfy both stability in large motions and movement in small motions. The problem is that you need to separate the skeletons for all skirt-shaped meshes and set key animations for each skeleton for each mesh. To solve this, we used Unreal's retargeting function. Utilize retargeting system. To increase efficiency, add a skirt bone to the basic torso skeleton. Using this, we used Unreal's retargeting system in the process of applying key animation to the top bone of the skirt. Add the skirt's armature to the main torso armature. This integrates the skirt and bodice bones into one frame. Apply key animation to the skirt bone added to the basic torso bone. The animation will control the movement of the top part of the skirt. Using Unreal's retargeting system, skirts of various shapes, long skirts, short skirts, skirts with one side long, skirts with different waistlines, starting points, allows you to correspond to the movements of the basic torso skeleton. Through this, the movement of the upper part of the skirt is moved by the key animation of the skirt bone of the basic torso skeleton, and the remaining parts are moved by the animation key of the skirt bone of the basic body skeleton. Each skirt is moved by a physics simulation of the skeleton connected to the mesh. Using a retargeting system, we efficiently integrate the structure of the existing torso skeleton and the newly added skirt bone. It was effective in combining animations for various parts by flexibly constructing the character's skeleton. So you can see in this image here, retargeting results. Light blue basic skeleton, blue skirt mesh skeleton. Okay, so yeah, the light blue here is like the basic skeleton, and then the dark blue here, the normal blue, is the skirt mesh skeleton. We may not be satisfied with all forms, but we will find the answer. As always, below is a temporary modeling resource for testing that was used in the early R&D process. Key animation, torso skeleton plus upper skirt skeleton, physical animation, skirt lower skeleton, combination result. So here you can see those images. The 4-point skirt was actually a skirt that moved in the air. All of the content introduced above was a process to express the natural movement of the 4-point skirt. Although cloth animation has not been applied to cloth skirts, research is underway to apply it to cloaks and certain types of mesh. In addition, various research is underway to improve the natural motion of clothing using a new engine. There we go. Forgot to load up my cat PNG tuber there for a second. Alright, let's do some Mabinogi today. We're gonna do the Doki Doki event daily. I'm gonna need a salmon. Go ahead and get that. Oh, did I not claim it from the auction house? There we go. Then let's do the dancing thing, and then we'll find out what the veteran dungeon is. I'm gonna go into the veteran dungeon with my knuckles, because I finally finished upgrading those and got them to the point where I want them to be, so I'll see how well they do. Alright, perfect. That's done. So 2 more times. So we'll do it once tomorrow, and then I'll probably finish it up on the weekend. Alright, let's go find out what the veteran dungeon is. I should work on Stardust. Maybe I'll do that today. For now, okay, what do we got? Berry. Oh, whoops. Yeah, there. And then I have these knuckles, which I've upgraded a lot. I could probably do more gem upgrades on those if I really wanted to. I could probably get higher than level 4, but that'd be pretty expensive. I'm not ready to spend that kind of gold right now. Oh, one of those rebirth pots expired. That's fine. Sold one more. Got those checks from those tech missions. And let's equip the staff as a secondary weapon here. Okay, so let's go do Berry Dungeon. I got these knuckles ready because I think that Fury Fighter is probably going to be out sometime in August, I'm assuming. That's going to be my guess, sometime in August. I'll bet we'll get an advertisement for it like late July or early August, and then it'll probably release in the middle of August somewhere. Fury Fighter and Melodic Puppeteer. Alright, let's get out Pan and Ursun Dalbang. Get those two out. Is that all I need? I think so, yeah. Wait, didn't I get some sort of item that was supposed to level up my spirit weapons the other day? I don't even remember. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright, let's go in. I'm not sure if I'll finish the dungeon or not. But the whole point is to go in here and test out the strength of my knuckles, so I might not finish this veteran dungeon. I just want to do a couple of rooms and see just how strong these knuckles are fully upgraded without Arcana skills. Oh, and I do want to go into a shadow mission. I need to get a picture of a Cerberus statue. So I'm going to make a video on shadow missions tomorrow. I've been slowly getting things ready for that. Oh, look at that damage. That's nice. Yeah, so far that's really good. Try this one. Okay, so finally floor 2. See, it does take a little bit longer because I'm not using an Arcana, and Fighter sort of focuses more on one enemy at a time, but considering the fact that I'm not really using any Arcana skills, Fighter's not doing too bad. When Fury Fighter comes out, I could definitely be a lot faster with that. See how well it does against some floor 2 enemies, because these guys are a little bit tougher than the ones up top. The Frost Dragon is awesome. And just take care of all these nosy enemies. Oops, messed with that. Oops. That focus is sometimes a little hard to hit with. Oops, I mean to use a spirit weapon attack, I was gonna use windmill. I pushed 5 by mistake. Nothing wrong with throwing in a little meteor once in a while. Still one of the best skills out there. of goblins in here. I'm gonna use some meteor. Get all these guys out of here. That imp is pretty durable. Hang on, we can get one more. There we go. Perfect. How close am I to being done with this? Wait, I want to expand the map. Can I not do that here? Or grab it. Okay, I guess I can't change the map size. Looks like we're still a good way away from the boss though. I think that's good enough. We did a pretty good test. It would take close to an hour to finish this with just Spider and some meteors. Oh, whoops. I'm so used to F1 being continent warp. That's why I usually have it set to. Alright, really quick, I'm going to check out the Mabinogi website, see if there's any information, because it is Thursday after the maintenance, and I haven't really had a chance to check the website yet. And then after that, we're going to do commerce for pretty much the rest of the stream, so do about an hour of commerce. Get those speed potions. Get 2 of them. And then we'll put our staff right here, because I'm going to use Magic and Dark Diviner for commerce. Alright, really quick, I will be right back, and then we will do commerce stuff. Okay, so there's not really a lot going on the NA site or anything like that. Even the Korean site's pretty quiet these days, at least right now. But there's some stuff going on the Korean forums, so please continuously update the dungeon guide, rewards, and shop. I was even saying this like a day or two ago, where the New Rise dungeon guide sucks. It doesn't have any information on it or anything like that, as it, like, nothing's been added to it, and all the sections say like there's no information here. The old dungeon guide was better. There are too many dungeon guides that haven't been updated. Yeah, the New Rise dungeon guide hasn't had any new information posted on it or added to it since it came out. Go figure. The basic settings regarding what comes out as a reward aren't even configured. Also, please renew and update the dungeon guide shop that was removed with the New Rise. And when I run a dungeon... Yeah, you can still access the dungeon guide shop, but you have to go to the Dumbarton town office to do it now for some reason. I have no idea what's going on with that. Please bring back the joy of grinding consistently, which is different from box rewards. I know how much... I mean, how much does it really affect the market price? Why remove it? Yeah, the New Rise dungeon guide sucks. It's horrible. I don't know why anyone thought that was a good idea to add that. And in the most recent Nabi Talk live stream that they did, Choi Dong-min did give like a public apology for all his failures and whatever, and he listened to a bunch of questions. I mean, if you listen to that, there's like 3 streams and about 19 hours of that event, give or take. Where they're just answering questions and stuff, and you can set the closed captioning to auto-translate all that and listen to it. Well, listen to some of it. The first stream that's like 8 hours long, the closed captioning only covers about 5 or 6 hours of the 8-hour stream, and then the closed captioning has to stop working after that point, which is kind of probably because the stream is just so big, the VOD is just so big. But yeah, in that live talk, Choi Dong-min admitted that he's been making mistakes and he's been failing, and there just hasn't been enough time to do everything that he's promised that he would do. The real problem with the dungeon guide is that the rewards are supposed to be better than what was there before, right? I mean, they should make it possible to obtain something better than the previous rewards. But look at it now. What can you actually do? Nothing. You can't even get rebirth potions. I don't know why they modified this. If they were going to patch it, it would be normal to at least open up a way to buy things like before. But when was this patch last? They should have made the reward list appear, but they haven't done that. If it's going to be like this, I think it would be better to just restore it that way. Well, at least there would be some hope. So yeah, I guess Koreans don't like the crappy New Rise dungeon guide and shop and all that crap, too. It's not difficult to fix the dungeon situation. I don't get how they're failing this hard for older dungeons. Like, New Rise was just such a low-effort piece of crap update. Like, it's simple. Here's how you fix the old dungeon system. You scale the older dungeons up so that there are veteran monsters in normal mode. You remove veteran difficulty as a difficulty completely, and then when you drop any random item on a dungeon altar and enter the normal version of the dungeon, the monsters inside are already at a veteran level. Veteran should be the new normal. Like, it's not a veteran dungeon anymore if you can play the game and get to level 10, 12k in 1 or 2 weeks with Blanid, and then do veteran dungeons like they're nothing. Veteran dungeons are no longer a challenge, so it doesn't make sense to call them that anymore. Veteran dungeons should be the new normal. And the same thing goes for shadow missions. That's what you do. You just you need to scale up the difficulty of shadow missions as well. Like elite shadow missions, they're not elite anymore. You just walk right through them. Even Lord missions aren't really that much of a challenge at all, right? Like, you can just go into a Lord mission, all the enemies are easy, and yeah, maybe there's a trick or two to the boss, but overall the boss is pretty easy work. You can solo that in no time at all. But what Choi Dong-min is doing is he has the brilliant idea of just telling everyone to ignore any old dungeon and just encourage, like, push people into only hard mode advanced dungeons, and then like Rabbi, Crom, Glenn, and Relith. Like, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to push everyone into, like, the 4 endgame dungeons that we have, and then forget about everything else, which is an incredibly stupid idea. Like, it's not hard to fix the old dungeon system. I mean, you just have to have a good dungeon guide, make sure the end chest rewards are reasonable and good, and scale the enemies up so they're actually difficult again. Because we have Arcana, and that's why the difficulty needs to be scaled up. Even without Arcana, dungeon difficulties still need to be at about like a normal dungeon should have monsters that are at about a veteran level. Because, I mean, with fighter, with dual guns, you can go into a veteran dungeon now, and you can still take out the enemies fairly easily even without an Arcana. It might take a little bit longer, but overall, they're still not a major challenge. But yeah, I don't like Choi Dong-min. He's doing a horrible job. I don't get how anyone could fail this bad when the update is so simple. It's so easy to fix the dungeon system. It's not even... It shouldn't even be an issue to fix it at all. All you have to do is actually know something about the game and fix it. But he's making a bunch of bullshit decisions that everyone in Korea and North America hate. Let's see. We were looking at that forum post right there. There's a fishing event going on. Let's take a look at that. I haven't heard anything about that yet. I guess it's mostly complaints about it. Okay, so Nier is a really poorly designed system. Are they talking about Nierate, I think? Yeah, that could be reworked and made a lot better. So this is some sort of fishing event where you need to catch eels, it sounds like. This right here, this is really the problem, is I question how much some of the Korean developers even play Mabinogi, because how else are they making such stupid decisions lately? It's like they don't even play the game. They just kind of look at 5 minutes of like footage on like a certain piece of content that they want to update, and then they make this random change without even thinking about it. They just add something without even really giving it much thought. Like, do these guys even play the game at all? I mean, other than maybe a 5-minute test to make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be? The Mabinogi development team is at a level where they shouldn't have made, played, or even existed. Next week is said to be even worse. Oh good. I can make another video hating on Choi Dong-min then. Please post about that in the forums. I'd love to see what horrible news we have coming next week. So wait, what fishing event are they even talking about? I'll look at events after this. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of complaints about the fishing quest taking too long. Apparently it's hard to catch the eel that you're supposed to catch for the event. Hang on, let's actually find out. Because, yeah, this was made, like, today, so... Events... What fishing event is going on right now? I don't know, I don't see anything. Is it a community event? Or maybe there's some sort of fishing going on with the Mysterious Cat Village. But the first time we got this event, I don't remember any parts of it being about fishing. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I wish I could find the fishing event they're talking about, but... What about announcements? Yeah, maybe it's some kind of, community event or something, because I'm not seeing an official event page for it. But I guess there's something wrong with some sort of fishing event, one way or the other. I'm looking forward to that cat event coming back. I don't think there's anything new in it, but overall, that event was a lot of fun when that happened. So I wouldn't mind doing that again. Plus, I want to get some of those cat totems again. Alright, let's jump back into the game here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do some commerce and then we'll wrap things up. So we'll do about 40, 50, maybe a full hour of commerce, I don't know. 40 or 50 minutes, something like that. Since I'm in Vales, maybe I'll commerce from here actually. Might as well check. Do I have any of those ice crystals? Yeah, I have one. $151 in Aquila, and then take that water too. Okay, we'll go to Aquila then. So let's use a speed potion. I want to use a reduction candy. Gonna try something interesting. Okay, let's go right here. Look somewhere down on the map. And then I'm gonna try opening this and selling some stuff while I'm moving. Hey, look at that. It works. Oh crap. I paid this stupid bank fee. Let's check that box. Oh well. I think that's it. It's good enough. Okay, so that's good. I finally got Veils up to rank 7. I believe at rank 7 that allows me to buy all the goods there. Let's go see if they have any coracle rubber at core. And maybe I'll do some commercing from there. Nope. Okay, let's go over to Veils. Let's see if I can get Veils vodka. I don't know if that was a level 6 or a level 7 item. So, go check. Pretty sure I have a backup alpaca, so I don't have to wait. Nope, they're out of stock. This is Okay. Let's go do something in Ulad then. How about some commerce from Tilton? See if they have any of those alchemy crystals. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Alchemy crystals. And I want to take these to Bangor for 339. Oh, 349. Yeah, we're gonna take them there. Okay, I think we're gonna do one more round of commerce from E-Main next. Probably gonna take this to Tilton or Tara, I'm guessing. And then that'll probably be it. So let's get that out here, and triple pasta goes for 43, butterbeer goes for 42, so triple pasta is what we want. Gonna get that, and we're gonna take that to Tailton. Okay, so that's gonna be it for commerce, but I also wanted to get a picture of a screenshot of a Cerberus statue, preferably one of the poison ones. So we're gonna go... We'll do the other alchemists. We're gonna go into a shadow mission. Do I have a pass? No, I don't. Well, it doesn't matter. I can go in the hard mode. That's fine. I forget how far into the shadow mission they are, but find one eventually. Use Dark Diviner to get through here a little bit faster. Was that it for the Mabinogi playlist? Let's use this one. Oh, and I'll get a doll bag out to collect that. Why not? Well, actually, there was a poisonous Cerberus in there, but Thunderblight killed all the enemies too fast. Okay, so I'm not going to use Thunderblight for the rest of this. I will for this room, because here it doesn't matter. I'm sure we'll find at least one more of those statues. Which one was this one do? Yeah, this is a poison one. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of a few of these guys so I can get the screenshot. Perfect. Wait for it to do that again. Get one of it with the eyes glowing purple. And then spreading the very ineffective weak poison that's not doing anything to my health. Get a couple of screenshots there. Great. Because I'm going to point out how weak the poison is from those things in my upcoming video. I guess that's all I really need from here. So we can just exit. So yeah, I did make a dungeon video, I don't know exactly how long ago, but a while ago, and I've been meaning to do a follow-up video that talks more about shadow missions, Avon missions, tech missions, and Beltane missions, stuff like that. So just sort of something that talks about those kinds of dungeons compared to the other ones. So my plan is I'm gonna get everything ready for that, and then I'm probably gonna actually make the video tomorrow before my Mabinogi live stream, and then hopefully I'll have that out sometime in the evening tomorrow. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up the Mabinogi live stream right around here for today. So we will be playing Mabinogi at the same time tomorrow, 4 p.m.